The main objective for this role is moving and seizing operation master roles. Welcome to CITC 233. So now let's go ahead and start with the backing up and restoring of a GPO. So let's go over to our group policy management. And inside of the domain, you would go to group policy objects. And in here, you would select the group policy that you want to back up. So for instance, default domain policy for our entire domain. You want to back that one up. So let's do it. Location, let's do C drive, GPO backup, and description, doesn't really matter, backup. Okay, then hit OK. And for restoration, we would first want to, let's change. First want to make a change to something. No, let's just do let's enable that. Sorry. So let's see. Version 10, 11, and then that. Okay. Let's see. Now let's refresh it, and you can see that the computer version just now changed. So, say if we change the policies and etc, and we want to go back and restore the policy back to the 10, the one that we backed up, simply we would restore it through right click, restore from backup. Next, select the backup folder already selected, the timestamp of the backup, finish. Okay. And as you see, it changed the number. Let's kind of refresh it, and there we go. We saw a different version now. Now we're going to cover importing and copying a GPO. So to do that, the first thing we're doing is going to our domain and group policy management, group policy objects, and say we already have a backup saved off somewhere of a policy that we want to be importing. So we have this GPO right here. Just click the one that you want to override with the settings from the backup, and import settings. Next. So the backup folder, that is the import settings, default, yes. So migration table to map them in the destination domain. Next. Finish. And as soon as this is done, that's pretty much it. That's all it is for importing, and that pretty much allows you to overwrite the object with the settings from that backed up GPO. For simply copying a GPO, you can use starter GPOs, and starter GPOs are pretty much just like templates, and you can copy any of these over to your group policies. And let's do new, let's do whatever, no, let's do something real, default new computer GPO, and we would edit that to whatever we need. And then when we want to utilize that GPO we just made, simply go right click and new GPO from starter GPO. So we copy in the starter GPO to whatever we make the new GPO out of. So the new GPO we're making the conf1, which would be a new computer GPO. Okay. And all the settings that we just made from that template will be applied within this GPO. I probably won't be able to find what settings I just applied to, but they should be there since it's literally identical as that GPO we just made. So in order to reset the default GPO, you would go to the command prompt and you would type this command, dc GPO fix. You can do target, and here, let's just go yeah, it's right here. You use /target domain DC or both. So /target DC, and enter, and then you can proceed to hit yes, and it will reset the default domain. Mine's gonna fail because I am for some reason unable to delete the file, and I'm not sure the proper procedures on how to fix this problem. But that is definitely how you reset the GPO, and for most systems I'm sure it will work. Alright, so now we're going to be delegating management of group policies. So let's go over to a GPO and let's do default domain policy, and let's go over to the delegation, and inside delegation this is where magic is going to happen, and let's go to advanced, fine, let's delegate control to B Smith, read, and there you have it. You just delegate control of a group policy. So now we're going to cover how to use group policy management to make a migration table. So inside of the group policy management, let's go to group policy object, and let's see which we want to make a migration table for. Let's do comp1 GPO, and then import settings, and then next, and then from migrating references, you would be using this migration table to map them in the destination GP, and then click new, and then from the editor you want to do tools and then backup. So you can do populate from backup, or you can do populate from GPO. Let's do populate from backup, and then from in here you just want to click the table that you want to populate. So you would hit OK, and as you can see, it populated the migration table. And from here, we would review the objects and make sure that all the objects reference to the source domain. So they do, and right-click any fields which require updating. So if there's a certain field that requires updating, we would right-click it. But in this situation, I don't think we have any. So we would just save and move on. And in review, we created a service account on server DC. We created a managed service account. We created an Active Directory service account. We installed the managed service account onto server A, and we